have opened there is a separate department of spiritual medicine. So now you will see that conventional system of medicines, they are also focusing towards the spiritual health, and Ayurveda has continued its principles and practice which is ingrained with the spirituality. And it has been shown to promote health related behavior and lifestyle that enhance health and decrease the disease risks. There are ample of research available where it is shown that the people who are inclined to spirituality or who are visiting regularly to the temples or church or some spiritual places, they have more positive behavior towards the life and they are less suffering with some kind of diseases. So even the WHO has recognized spirituality as one of the important factor which is influencing our health. So you know that as we in Ayurveda say, prasannatmindriya manah swastitya vidhiyate. Similarly, in the WHO definition of health, spirituality is one of the important component considering the holistic health. So traditional system of medicines which are ancient wisdom of our seers are well ingrained with the spiritual principles. And here we have the belief in existence of soul, theory of rebirth like the Punarjanma Siddhant or the Jivatma, Paramatma, then the law of karma. You know that the theory of rebirth, this is the place where the Charaka, Maharshi Charak, he has described the Chaturvidha Pariksha. So there the question comes, not only at present time, but even the previous times there are differences of opinion. So mataram pitaram chaike manyante janma karanam swabhavam parinirmanam yadriksha chapya parejana. So there are people who are arguing that there is no rebirth, there is no existence of soul. It is the father and mother, or it is just by the chance the birth happens. And you will also find the law of karma. So here also nahi karma mahat kinchit phalam yasya na bhujyate kriyagna karmaja roga prashmam yanti takshayat. So karmaj vyadhi and its treatment, that all are discussed here. Even the diseases are classified like doshaja, dosh karmaja, and karmaja vyadhi. So you will find that the Ayurveda has continued its practice, which is very much connected to the spirituality. And now the conventional system of medicines, which was deviated in some previously, again coming back to the spirituality. So traditional system of medicine like Ayurveda, Siddha, Unani, you will find the concept of soul, Punarjanma in the Ayurveda. You will find in the Siddha system of medicine, which is again very much correlated with the Ayurveda, and including the Unani system of medicine. Here also we have the concept of Ruha. So we say Atma, they say the Ruha. So that is also one of the important component, and they take this in their, they consider this as one of the important principle in their practice. So considers the human being as a spiritual entity, and they all believe in the existence of soul. We can say it as the spirit or the conscious element, and the life energy as, which is we say as the part of the universal soul. So you will find that all the traditional system of medicines, they have accepted the concept of soul, or they accept that there is some other dimension other than this physical dimension. There is another spiritual dimension which is responsible for our life, or which sustains our life. So we will see what exactly this spirituality is. So spirituality is a concept which is globally acknowledged. You will find that this is now becoming one of the central focus in the medical system. And all over the world, there are a lot of researches going on the spirituality. And this word spirit is derived from the Latin word spiritus, which means the breathe or spirit or soul. So spirituality therefore refers to one's connection to his or her breath or life or spirit or soul. So when we are connected with our breath, or when we are able to recognize other than our physical dimension, there is another self or spirit or soul or the conscious element is there. That is what we say as the spirituality. And according to Jonas J, the most fundamental concept of his spirituality is that there is a transcendent dimension to life, something or someone beyond our own ego and sense of experience. The experience of connection to this larger sacred reality is what gives our life's ultimate meaning. So here they are referring that we have to think beyond our physical existence. So when we see our beyond our physical existence, we'll find that there is another dimension of our life, what is described in Ayurveda as the Atma or soul, or we say the conscious element. So if you are able to recognize that, this recognition itself gives a very another dimension of our life, or higher dimension of our life. So now we will see, when we talk so much about the various traditional system of medicines and Ayurveda, they talk so much about the Atma or the soul or the spirit, or they consider body and Atma as, or the Sharira and Atma as two different entity. So are there some evidence which supports this concept? So we will see some of the recent researches which were done and which proves that there is some other dimension of our life. So here is one of the research which is done by the Raymond A. Moody, and he did his research on the clinically dead patient. So he basically selected three kinds of patients: those who were resuscitated after having been thought, adjudged, or pronounced clinically dead by their doctors. So many times what happens when the doctors, they are dealing with some patients, and they found that the patient is died, and they are trying to revive this patient. So generally when the your respiratory system, nervous system, circulatory system, there is a complete cessation, we declare the person is dead. But sometimes what happens is, beyond this, the medical limit, sometimes the person comes back to the life. So this is what some of the cases which were recorded clinically dead and they came back to the life. So Dr. Raymond Moody, he selected such kind of cases, and those who in the case of accident or severe injury or illness came very close to the physical death. So here, like what we say, the near death experience. So the person, he met one severe accident and he was almost dead, and then he came back to the life. So this category of patients he selected, and the another group of person he selected for his research is who, while dying, they shared their experience to their relative or the close one. So he collected the experiences or the data from all these kinds of cases, and then he declared that there is something else other than this our physical dimension. There is something else, we can name it as the soul or the conscious element or a spirit or anything which is there. And many of these cases they told that they found that their body is dead, the doctors are trying to revive, and they were able to observe that body is different from their own real existence. So like this, there was clear cut experiences of having something beyond body experiences of these people. That means they were seeing that my body is injured and they are different from their body. And somehow, once the doctor was trained, suddenly they came back and again they came in this physical world. So, like this, when the Dr. Modi he collected so many cases, he declared that we can give any name. We can say it as the conscious element or the spirit or soul, but we have to accept that there is some other dimension of our life. Similarly, there are a lot of cases of reincarnation, and Dr. Gyan's invention, you will find many of the articles, books written by Gyan Stevenson, and he worked as the chairman of neurology and psychiatry at the University of Virginia Medical School. And he is one who has done extensive work in the field of reincarnation. And one of his book, that is 20 cases suggestive of reincarnation. This is available freely downloadable book. You can just type 20 cases suggestive of reincarnation, and these you can go through this book, a small book. And here he collected a lot of data, especially from the children whose memories were strongly suggested reincarnation. Suppose a children who has never came out of his village and he is suddenly narrating about some other place, about some other family, some village, and he is describing the geographical situation and he is telling the name of the people of some of the places where he has never visited, never heard. So such all cases he collected, and the best 20 cases. That is what is described in his book, 20 cases suggestive of reincarnation. So he not only just collected the information, but he went back to the place. He again collected all the evidences, what this children was or what these children were narrating. He collected all those things. When he found that everything is truth, then only he recorded and he presented in this book. So like when a child report information in a regression using the vocabulary of an adult or speak in foreign language that he or she has never been exposed to, we don't find any explanation more plausible than reincarnation. Many times it happens, the children, they are suddenly talking in some other foreign language, and they will talk very fluently, and they were never learned this language in their present life, and they are able to tell some of the things of other places where they have never visited, never heard. So we have no other ways to describe why this is happening to the children and how this is possible. So the only explanation is we have to consider that the the soul which was there in the previous life is now in this body. So that is only the in, uh, possible explanation we can give for such cases. So this is the book. It is freely, it is available in the Google, and you can download and you can read this book. There are beautiful cases described by Ian Stevenson, and maximum cases are from the India or this South Asian countries only. So this is one of the study which is done in the NIMHANS, National Institute of Mental Health and Neuroscience, Bengaluru. So here Dr. Pasricha. So cases of reincarnation type in South India, why so few reports? So actually they worked, and lot of papers and a project was there in the NIMHANS to explore the cases of reincarnation, and this is one of the publication. Dr. Pasricha, she, she is the author of this. And here also they have reported so many cases where they found the similar kind of pattern where the children, they are able to understand some of the things, some languages, or they are aware of some of the families, or some of the times we heard that the children is just 4 years, 3 years narrating whole Bhagavad Gita, narrating whole Bible. So it is not possible for a kid to remember the whole thing, or it is not possible to teach him so early. So how this is possible? So many of such cases they collected and they presented in this paper. This was funded by the NIMHANS. Another book, this is The Laws of the Spirit World, written by Khurshid Bhavangari. So this is this book is about the story of the Mumbai. So the couple who were in their 60s and they lost their both the son in an accident on a single in a same day. So this husband and wife, they were having no other purpose. They were always remembering their son, and they were just having, like, they were always in a very sad kind of situation. But they started feeling that their son are around them, or they were able to feel something different in their home. They were feeling that the son, though they died, but they are here only near to us, and they want to communicate with us. So like this, these couples, they found a person who was able to communicate with these spirits. And then the both husband and wife, they went to the person and they took the help, and then they communicated with their both the sons, and the whole experience, what is the spirit world and what are the laws and how what are the things their son told to them, all the things they have explained in this book. So this book is again available and you can go through this book, The Laws of a Spirit World. This is the real experience of a couple who were in the Bombay, not very old book. Another concept is xenoglossy. This is from the book Past Life, Future Life by the Bruce Goldberg. So Bruce Goldberg in his book Past Life, Future Life has mentioned about his experience in this subject, xenoglossy. So xenoglossy is the speaking and or writing of a foreign language in trance by a person who possesses no conscious knowledge of this language. So that means when the regression is done, the person is regressed, and it is not only one life. The person may be regressed to the several lives back, because we know that Atma has no beginning, no end. So we can go back to the hundreds of lives back. So it happens that it is not that today I am in India, but it may possible that last in my previous life I may be in the China or I may be in some other country. So here what happens is when the person is regressed and goes back to his previous life, suddenly he will start talking in a foreign language. And in his real life, in the present life, he has no knowledge of that language. And many a times this regression is used to read some of the old manuscripts also. Like they will take back the person and to know about the past, what was the kind of society was there, what are the things were existing in those days. So they go to the regression, take back to the regression, and then they will try to get the information. So this is called as xenoglossy. And actually in the real life the person will be having no knowledge of that particular language, but when he is regressed he will talk very fluently in that language. So this is all tried cases are there, and this is all which is used. So now we will see some of the references from our Ayurveda. So we know that the Atma is the cause of Chaitanya. So here in the first chapter, Tirgam Jivitiyam Adhyayam, it is explained that Nirvikara Parastu Atma Sattva Bhuta Gudendriya Chaitanya Karanam. So Sattva, Bhuta Guna, Indriya, when all are there, the Atma becomes the Chaitanyata Karana. That means the consciousness is exhibited when the Atma is connected with the Sattva, Bhuta Guna and Indriya. So that is what explained. And further they are saying is Nityodishta Pasitihi Kriya. And Atma is non-participant observer. It will just observe. It will not directly participate in any of the action. Participating in action, performing the things, that is all related to the Manas, not with the Atma. So Atma is non-participant observer, but the cause of consciousness. Atma is the Karta, but it does not directly participate in any of the functions, any of the actions. So na kartuhu indriya bhavat karyaganam pravartate. So why when the Atma is alone is not able to perform any action, it is because when the Atma alone, it is devoid of Indriya, etc. And without in the absence of Indriyas, it will not be able to perform any action. So this is required. The Atma, when it is in combination with the Sattva, Bhuta, Guna, Indriya, etc., then only we can see all the actions which are performed, or the physical level of actions we can see in that level only. And we know that Tatra Shariram Nam Chetana Bhutam Pancha Mahabhuta Vikara Samudayatmakam Samyogvahi. So this Sharir, when we say, it is the Chetana Adhisthana. This is the abode of the soul. And it is the Pancha Mahabhuta Vikara. The body is nothing but it is the modification of the Pancha Mahabhuta, permutation and combination of the Pancha Mahabhuta. And this body serves as the abode, or it is the house for the Atma. And even you will find the Shushru Samhita also, when it is explained that Shad Dhatu Atma Purush. So there they are saying is Asmin Sastre tu Pancha Mahabhuta Shariri Samvaya Purushiti Uchyate Sa Eva Karma Purusha Chikitsa Adhikrita. So that is the Purusha, that Shad Dhatu Atma Purusha is the one who is Karma Purusha and who is the Chikitsa Purusha. So the Atma alone is not the subject matter of Ayurveda. And the body which is divided of Atma is also not the subject matter of Ayurveda. For us, the Panch Mahabhuta Sharira along with the Atma, that is what the subject matter of Ayurveda, and that is what they are saying. Asmin Shastra tu Panch Mahabhuta Shariri Samvaya Purushetya Uchyate. So what happens when this Atma leaves the body? So Sharire hi gate asmin Shunyagaram Achetanam Panchabhutavashechatvat Panchatvam Gatam Uchyate. So this soul, when it leaves the body, so what happens? This body is like the house without the owner. So it becomes Shunyagara. And this is the Panch Mahabhut Vikara. So again it will merge to the Panch Mahabhuta. So that is what described in the Sharira Sthana. Then again they are saying is this comes in the context of Punarjanma Siddhi, where they are saying is Patakebhya Param Chetat Patakam Nastik Graha. The greatest sin living in this world is not accepting the existence of God or not accepting the existence of the soul. So when we are not accepting some higher reality other than our physical existence, this is what is explained in the Charaka as one of the greatest sin. So when we have so much about the spirituality and all other things, naturally we have so many uh, practical examples for our spiritual health also. And when we look about the spiritual health, so starting from waking up early in the morning, there are so many practices explained in Ayurveda for our spiritual health. Like just take the example of waking up early in the morning in the Brahma Muhurta. So Brahma Muhurta is again Ratrish Chaturdash Muhurta is the Brahma Muhurta. So here they are saying is when he is waking up early in the morning, the first thing he has to do is Ismaret hi Madhusudanam. So he has to remember the Lord Vishnu, who what we say the Vishnu as the God who is responsible for our sustenance. So we have to remember the God when we are waking up early in the morning. Similarly, when we are taking food, again we have to remember Annam Brahma, Raso Vishnu, Bhokta Devo Maheshwara, Iti Sanchintya Bhunjanam Drishti Dosho Nabadate. So we have to remember, and again they are saying is we have to remember the Lord Hanumana when we are taking the food. So like waking up early in the morning, doing some kind of work, even whenever we are starting any of the work, we first remember to the God, take blessings of the God, and then we initiate the task, initiate any task. So similarly, worshipping God is mentioned like Yasasyam, Swargam, Ayushyam, Dhana Dhanya Vivardhanam, Devata, Pitru Vipranam, Pujanam Gotravardhanam. So every day after the bath, it is described that we have to do the pujana. So that will give us, that will make our future life better. It will make us wealthy, and it is again help our whole family. So that is what described in our Ayurveda text. Sukhartha sarvabhutana mata sarva pravritya sukham chana bina dharma tasmat dharma paro bhavet. So again, so they are saying is, see this is a very what do we say in the Indian culture, even the person who has not read any shastra, a village person who is uneducated, if we go and listen to him, they will also say that don't harm anyone, don't cheat anyone, don't trouble the animals, do not kill someone. So like this, they will also have a basic, very fundamental aspect that we have to follow the path of dharma. So this is very, very, very deeply uh, connected with our Indian culture. No need of reading some of the very great shastra to understand this. Every person they say that I have to follow dharma, I should not deviate from the path of dharma. So that is what says Sukhartha Sarvabhutana Mata Sarva. All the person, all kinds of activities they perform for the sukha, to have the sukha in the life, for the happiness in the life. And Sukham Chana Binadharmat. And this sukha or the happiness in the life cannot be achieved without performing the righteous act. So that is what explained in our Shastra. So now we will little bit see about the concept of spirituality in various systems of medicines. So I told that the spirituality is one of the common thread in all system of medicines, including the conventional system of medicines. Traditional system of medicines, they have the concept of soul or atma or the jiva, but including the prayer, the Vyapasya Chikitsa, these all are the one of the important modalities of treatment described in Ayurveda. But actually, if we look back to the history of modern medicine, there also we will find that the modern system of medicine during its origin had spiritual principles, and prayer was one of the important parts of the patient care. So visiting to the temple, doing some kind of prayer, that was one of the important modalities of treatment in the modern system of medicine also. But what happened is later with the technological advancement and the discovery of bacteria, virus, or some kind of pathogens which are creating some kind of disease. So this modern system of medicine, they deviated from their spiritual path and they started looking towards all the physical things only. That this bacteria, this virus, they are only responsible for all kinds of trouble. But what happened is, although the spiritual approach was criticized, what happened is there was a time when these all were uh, branded as black magic or andhavishwas, or these all were very negatively seen by the modern system of medicine. But gradually, what is happening is gradually they are again coming back to the spiritual path. And in the survey study, it was found that approx 59% of British medical schools and 90% of US medical schools have courses or content on spirituality and health. So you can understand that nearly 90% of the US medical schools, they have the spirituality as one of the subject, as one of the course, and there is a separate department as spiritual medicine in their medical colleges, medical institutes. So you can understand how important, how much importance they are giving to the spiritual health or spiritual dimension of the health. And a cross-sectional study on spirituality and health, a knowledge, attitude, and practice study among doctors of North India found that 80% physicians believed in the curative role of spirituality. So this is the survey study which is done in India, and this is done among the physician. And like when we are sitting in the clinic, many a times the patients, they come and they share some of the things. They share that he was suffering with some kind of problem. He went to the temple, he performed some kind of puja, or he performed some kind of home havan or some karma kanda, and he got some relief. It may be physical problem, mental problem. So many times, including the mental problem, many times we see that the person, they go to the temple, they say that some kind of the god is angry or some kind of things had happened, and if we go to the particular temple, visit to the temple, things will be settled down. So the survey was done whether they have really experienced in their clinical practice that such kind of things are there. So almost 80% of the physicians, they accepted yes, this spirituality has the curative effect and it is helping the patient. And a similar proportion held the view that spirituality has an important role in day-to-day patient care. So many times the patients, they are hesitating to share all these things to the doctors, but when the doctor is a bit open and he is taking all kinds of detailed history, so it is found that spirituality is playing one of the very important key role in patient health care. Ayurveda, we have already discussed so many things. The Ayurveda principle and practice, they are very closely connected with the spirituality. And when we consider, and I told that it is the Panchamahabhut Vikar and Atma. So not just a Panchamaha, not just the physical body, we are also considering, when we are considering human being, it is the conscious human being or the human being along with the soul. That is what we are dealing with. So for us, the Ayu itself, Sharirendriya Sattva Atma Sanyoga. So the Ayu itself is, we are taking as soul as one of the important component. So Daiva Pasya Chikitsa, this is one very important thing. In the first chapter of Charak Samhita, when the Trividh Chikitsa the three dimension of treatment, that is Daiva Vyapashraya, Yukti Vyapashraya, and Sattva Vajaya, these are told. So actually the Daiva Vyapashraya is mentioned first in the sequence. Then the Chakrapani, here he has raised the question, why Daiva Vyapashraya is mentioned first here? Why not Yukti Vyapashraya, that is Aushadha Ahara Yojana? Why Daiva Vyapashraya? So there the answer is given as Daiva Vyapashraya Chikitsa is mentioned first because it is Shigram Akleshena Vyadhi Haranti. So even when you are taking medicine, you have to face some kind of trouble, or the medicine may not be very palatable. If you have to go to the Panchakarma and all therapies, or you have to follow some kind of patya, it will not be very easy to follow. But Daiva Vyapashraya Chikitsa is such kind of treatment, such kind of chikitsa where Shigram Akleshena, immediately, immediate effect, Akleshena, without giving any kind of trouble, it will cure the disease. So that is what Daiva Vyapashraya Chikitsa is given the first preference in Ayurveda. But somehow we also know that we are lacking the proper training, or the proper exposure, and even proper content in our syllabus about the Daiva Vyapashraya Chikitsa. We are more and more concentrating on the Yukti Vyapashraya. Even Sattva Vajaya Chikitsa is not very much utilized, only the Yukti Vyapashraya. We are also becoming like there is a pill for every ill, so that is what is becoming. But actually there are a lot of explanation given at so many places, so many places in the Nidan and in the treatment. You will find that the role of Deva Vyapashraya Chikitsa is explained in Ayurveda, not only just Umada but Apasmara, but including in the Jwara. You will know that Vishnu Sahasranama and so many things, that all are explained. So there are so many studies, like the study conducted on the comparison between the effect of Gayatri Mantra and poem chanting. Like the children, one group of children, uh, they were taken for the Gayatri Mantra chanting, and one group of children, they were taken for the poem chanting. And further, on the digit later substitution task showed significant improvement in the total and net score of DLST. Subjects consisted 60 school students, 30 boys and 30 girls, aged 12 to 14, who were trained in chanting the Gayatri Mantra for 5 days. The magnitude of the net score improvement was greater after the Gayatri Mantra chanting. So you can just understand, in just 5 days, it will bring the change in the attitude or in the performance of the children. So if someone is practicing it regularly, how much benefited he will be. Another study, there are so many other studies, like one is performed with the Santi Kunj Haridwar on the effect of Shiv Panchakshari Mantra, that is nothing but the Om Namah Shivaya Shiv Panchakshari Mantra, on the adjustment level of using the Bell Adjustment Inventory, which is a questionnaire approach to measuring personality consisting of 140 items. The items were split into the four categories, that is adjustment at the level of home, health, social, and emotional. So here also it was found that the researchers concluded that the practice of Shiv Panchakshari Mantra Japa is quite effective in enhancing the adjustment level. So if we just practice, we bring some kind of spiritual element in our life, it will bring a greater change. So again, we know that the wearing of some precious gems, etc., Madikya Mukta, Falvidru Mancha, Tarsha Pushpa, Durancha Neelam. So all are different ratnas, Karmena Ratnani Navagrahani. So these all are the different. Whenever some kind of Graha Badha is there, it is suggested to go and wear some kind of gems, etc. So that also have some effect. And this is also described in the Shastras. Coming to the Sattva Chikitsa. So this is also related with our spirituality. So Sattva Sattva, we know that it is the mind. Avajaya, it means winning or overcoming. So it is winning over the mind or control over the mind. So pathogenic factors of the mind can be cured by spiritual and scriptural knowledge, patience, memory, and meditation. Dhi dharya, atma di vigyanam, mano dosha aushadam param. And again, withdrawal from the mind from harmful object. Ahitebhyo, arthebhyo, manonigraha. So this is what the basic fundamental aspects of dealing with any kind of psychological problems. So Saptavijay Chikitsa calls for strengthening the mind by following a spiritual path. So whenever we are dealing with some kind of psychological issues, so again, spirituality is one of the important aspect which is helping the patient to come out from this problem. It may be some simple problem also, or it may be some very severe kind of psychological diseases, grave psychological disease, or maybe simple some neurosis, some depression, or some irsha, dvesha, krodha, such kind of things. If we add spiritual element in these treatment, it will give much more better effect. So we will see some of the evidences about the spirituality and its positive effect on our health. So there are these all are the published articles which are available, and one can go through and he can again confirm all those which is discussed here. So the woman with metastatic breast cancer, that means they were all already having the metastasis, and the lady who were suffering with they were in this stage. So they gave high rating to the importance of spiritual expression in their life, had greater number of white blood cells and total lymphocyte counts. So when the spiritual element was added into the treatment, or they were exposed to the spirituality, it was found that their immune system is performing better. And in a group of women rehabilitating from hip fracture, patients who regarded God as a source of strength and who frequently attended religious services could walk a greater distance at discharge, even when data analysis was controlled for severity of fractures. That means when the severity of fracture was almost the same, but the person who was having the belief on the God, or who was seeking some kind of strength from the God, was able to come out from the problem very quickly. He was able to walk for the longer distance compared to the person who was not having the spiritual belief. So this was very simple kind of things, that just I have the belief and my system will perform better than the other. So some observational studies suggest that the people who have regular spiritual practices tend to live longer. So that means when person is regularly visiting to the temple, church, or regularly performing some kind of spiritual practices in their life, he will be having the longer life, better life. Men who attended church regularly had half the death rate from the heart disease compared to non-attenders. You can understand this how these kind of studies have given importance to the spiritual dimensions. Person who is visiting regularly, it is found that they are having the half of the death rate compared to the others, those who are not suffering with, not visiting the temples, and the cardiac issues, which is one of the leading cause of the death worldwide. So patients with advanced cancer who found comfort from their religious and spiritual belief were more satisfied with their lives, were happier, and had less pain. So in the cancer patients, when they are having some spiritual belief, they were having the better outcome, they were more satisfied, their life was much better, and the pain intensity of the pain was also less compared to the patients who were non-believer or they were not spiritual. So people who incorporate spirituality into their healing process, either formally or informally, have been shown to have a higher quality of life and a better emotional acceptance of their diagnosis. So the acceptance level will also be very high. He may be suffering with some very grave disease, but he will not be having much trouble when he's thinking that it is the God who will help, who is going to help me, who is with me. So even as a protective resource that prevents the development of disease in healthy people, and as a coping resource that buffers the impact of disease in the patients. The disease may be the same, but the kind of suffering which a spiritual person is going through and a non-spiritual person is going through may completely differ. The spiritual person may not suffer in the same way. He will be having more uh, better intensity of the pain compared to the person who is non-spiritual. So many such studies which is psychology or modern research. Ellison and Levin, after their study concluded that religious faith can provide a sense of hope that offers both emotional and tangible.
Sir, voice is not clear.
But when the person is having some spiritual dimension, his emotional health, his physical health, and overcoming of this kind of very um, difficult situation will be easier. Otherwise, it will be very difficult for the patient. So the history supports that the spiritual dimension is playing a very important role for the old age patients. So this is in short about the spirituality, what is described in Ayurveda, kinds of researches done on the spiritual effect on our health, both the maintenance of the health and also coming out from the diseases. So we see that the various system of medicines not only have a firm basis of spiritual, including the modern system of medicines, but their treatment modalities also include spiritual care, which is an integral part of human life and health. So we see that the 90% of the US school they have the spiritual medicine as one of the department, and they have the
Voice is
Sir, voice is breaking, sir. Voice.
adopting the spiritual principles in life, which are mentioned in Ayurveda, is the best way to achieve perfect health and maintain harmony both within and with the external world. So we see that the Ayurveda they have described starting from waking up early in the morning, and when Rishi, Guru, all those, while taking food, while initiating any action, every time they are saying that we have to see or we have to pray to the God, we have to understand there is some other dimension than our physical world, which is protecting us or which is helping us. So if we have that kind of belief, it will be very much useful for our own health and also for our medical practice. So thank you so much. And
Thank you so much, sir.
anyone, if they have something to contribute or if they want to share something, they can please.
Now we have our question answer session, sir. If you have any doubt, they can ask. अगर किसी को
Hello.
कोई भी डाउट है तो वो माइक ओपन करके पूछ सकते हैं.
हाँ, हम पूछ रहे हैं.
जी
I
जी
am
जी
Dr. Krishnan. RLL Guru. Dr. Krishnan ji, uh, subject on spirituality. I am very happy because I am very much interested in this subject. Uh,
thank
I
you sir.
am retired professor of Kaumar Bhrityam from
Sir,
Tirupati. Now, currently I am RAV Guru.
sir,
First
sir,
of all, because you are a faculty from the All India Institute of Ayurveda, Goa, first
sir,
of all, I have a question to you.
sir,
The uh, very recently, just 2 days back,
sir.
the physical committee on syllabus held at the Hyderabad. I think
Yes,
you know, you are aware of this.
yes,
Have
sir.
you, directly or indirectly suggested in the syllabus of either basic principles or any subject related to spiritual sattva Vijaya. Sattva Vijaya, of course, it comes in Chikcha somewhere, but about spirituality and it's elaborative and whatever the examples that you have given, various researches are going on. Have you any word directly or indirectly suggested to the syllabus makers? Hello.
Sir, actually,
No, your voice is not heard, please. Your
Sir,
voice is not audible.
your video is also invisible, sir. Not visible, sir.
For the last 5 minutes, it is becoming so.
Sir, are you there? I guess there is some technical or network issue is happening.
hello.
Yes, sir.
Ah,
Huh.
okay.
Sorry, sir. I think there was some disturbance in the connection. So, sir,
Yeah.
actually, spirituality as a different subject or as a some kind of training program that is not there in our syllabus that I accept. But actually, in the Shastra, that all are described. So somewhere we have to give importance to this aspect of
See, you see,
also.
this is this time there is a lot of exercises done
Yes,
on the syllabus, and the we have to accept somewhere. There must be some concrete steps. If Ayurveda and
yes,
being a the part of medical system, if Ayurveda has doesn't focus on spirituality and
yes,
link to the medicine, then no other system can do better than what Ayurveda does. That is the my aim. So it has to come up the very strong emphasis, and especially from the Department of Basic Principles, Samhita Vibhag, and that Doshadatma Vijnana and all that.
yes, sir, yes,
Because
sir, yes.
I can give number of examples in the treatment. For example, I am being a comorbid man in in Kashyap Samhita several times.
Yes, sir,
The
yes, sir.
Gayatri mantra recitation
The
is suggested
spirituality,
in
yes, sir.
several contexts.
Yes,
And moreover, there's a lot of work. Unfortunately, we being the the owners of this property, we are unable to explore the subject. But
exactly, sir,
the world
exactly.
over, the lot of the research is being done. There is an international
Working
institute of
enough in this field.
the research near death syndrome. The
Mm.
there are the members of that research institute bodies. Some of the people who have the near death experience,
Experience.
and now they
Yes,
are the part of that body.
yes, sir, yes.
Then I think, to my knowledge, one Amruta Murtajani or something like that, her name, and
Mm.
it is available in this YouTube also. So
Sir.
that is another thing. And very live examples from our own India. Very recently,
Yes, sir. Yes.
just in the month of January,
Hmm.
a uh, for the last 1 year, he has been telling all evidence is showing only 30 kilometers from her birthplace, and she found all the parents and brothers of past life. She died in a fire accident in the 2013, and now she is 4 years old. Now
Mhm.
she is living and in very much in touch with the past life parents and present life parents. And I'm telling about a live example.
Yes, sir.
It
Yes.
was very much in media in the January of this 2024.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So, and one more thing, just I want to give, just I want to add your regression therapy. Psychologist turned to philosopher,
Sir.
Brian Weiss, who has written
Beyond waste.
a book,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Many Masters and Many Lives.
Same
Actually,
soul, many body,
he is
many
the,
life, many
he is
masters. Yes,
the
yes.
father of this regression therapy. And
Mhm.
in India, my friend is known to me, a modern pediatrician known as Dr. Natwar Lal. He is practicing in Chennai and he is conducting the course in regression therapy for 1 year. It is a 1 year course. So
Mhm.
the regression therapy is nothing but through the hypnosis like process and going into the past life and knowing the cause of the disease in the present life.
Exactly, sir.
The many lives, many masters is the book is only one single case study by the
Patient,
Brian.
yeah.
That is the one
Patient.
single patient, and patient herself told it is the cause is not in this
Of
life; it is
present life.
past life.
Yes.
Then that psychologist has developed this technique, regression therapy, and then
Patient.
he has done number of cases cured this based on this. No, what I meant to say,
Yes, sir.
it is we the Ayurvedic people must be
Exactly.
in forefront.
Yeah.
So, but I appreciate you have dare enough to speak on this subject, but it must be on the syllabus and it must be a part of study in Ayurvedic, formal Ayurvedic education. Unless this, then this controversy and Ayurveda says if you are Gnostic, you are
Mm.
not eligible to study Ayurveda. So this is what should be the spirit, and people like you must influence. And you
Mhm.
are the very premier institute like All India, the All India Institute of Ayurveda from Goa. And so, thank you very much. I hope you just take it as a positive.
Thank you so much, sir. I am very much agree with you that we have to take some concrete
Your voice is not audible, please. Your voice is not audible.
Sir, your voice is not clear, sir.
Actually, I'm
Yes.
very much agree with the Dr. Krishniya, sir. And actually, we have to come out with some proper training program, or we have to include in our education. So
Yeah,
I'm,
that's what I'm saying.
I'm very
We
much
have
agree
to
with you,
include in
sir.
our formal
And
education.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. Exactly, sir.
For your kind information, I'm practicing. The major number of my patients are autism. In autism, I suggested the all parents to expose the child at least 10 to 15 minutes twice a day to Gayatri Mantra. And the research is done on Gayatri Mantra, which Gayatri Mantra influences the higher nervous system, and it makes the many neurological circuits to bring normalcy. So this is I am practicing, and while doing dhara, it is there the Gayatri mantra runs throughout the dhara procedure. So this I have been practicing for the last 5 years. And when the child is able to speak, and first of all, I tell them, we make him to learn Gayatri Mantra. So irrespective of the religion, whether if it is left to their parents, whether it is a Muslim or Christian, I don't bother. But I explain them it is a scientific one, not it is a religious one. The spirituality has no religion. Spirituality is the ultimate science. That is what I believe.
Anyone else ask about any session, doubt about the session? अगर किसी को भी सेशन से रिलेटेड कुछ पूछना है तो वो अपने माइक ऑन करके पूछ सकते हैं.
It was really a very nice program.
Sir.
And thank you, Arimi, for giving this very important subject for having a good discussion. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. So I would like to listen from some other senior people who can contribute on this. They can share some of their clinical
In which
experience.
we are doing practice from last 46 years.
Sir.
And we have already experienced that the people of Ayurveda should do all three parameters for the treatment purpose. All three means Deva Vipashraya, Yukti Vipashraya, and Sattva Vajaya. So, in most of the Ayurvedic colleges, the Deva Vipashraya Chikitsa is not in practice, but we people, we are doing this to every patient, and we ask every patient to get up in morning when you are in under my treatment, and the result is very nicely affected, and we have recording all these effects so that we can represent in any other scientific seminars. So thank you, Arevi. Such type of things will again give us a courage to work on three-dimensional treatment of Ayurveda. Three-dimensional include Deva Vipashraya. Without Deva Vipashraya, treatment is really not completed in Ayurveda. Thank you very much, and do Deva Vipasya Chikitsa. I request to all our fellows, they should perform it, they should guide their patient and see the effect. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Sir, thank you so much for sharing your experiences, sir. Thank you so much. And I would like to see that some important evidence-based clinical publication should come on this field.
Under me, there was a MD program, and I have done work on Rudraksha and chanting of Om Namah Shivaya,
Sir.
and wearing that particular Rudraksha and Rudraksha Bhasma also. And we have seen 30 to 70% people are having very nice effect on that. But
Great.
after that, so many peoples we have just go through for survey, they are wearing the Rudraksha. They told about that PG student is now a medical officer, and he is saying that such wearing Rudraksh is much better for relieving the tension for these lifestyle diseases. मैंने कहा publish a paper so that we can go through a better documented presentation. This is just my a nutmeg, just oration for all of you, that we should all do some work for the evidence, and that evidence should come on a very good publication.
Exactly, sir. Exactly. That is what which will help a lot. to our system.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. Now we are concluding our session. On the behalf of organizing committee, I present vote of thanks to today's speaker, Dr. Akhilesh Shukla, sir. Sir is very nicely said about the Devva Pashraya Chikitsa and also Satpajaya Chikitsa. Thank you so much, sir. I also thanks to our mentor, Padma Bhushan Vaidya Sri Devendra Tribunaji, Vaidya Rajesh Kotecha, sir, Dr. Vandana Siroha, ma'am. Also thanks to team RAB for successful conduction of the series. अगले सेशंस की जानकारी शिष्यों को उनके व्हाट्सएप में मिल जाएगी ग्रुप्स में. Till then, stay healthy and good day to everyone.
Thank you so much to the RAV team. Thank you so much to all for your patient listening.
All are having a best wishes for coming Deepavali.
Shubh Deepavali.
शुभ दीपावली सर
Ah,
सभी को.
yes, yes, for everybody. And we should pray for all Tamso Ma Jyotirgamaya.
Jyotirgamaya. Exactly, sir. Exactly.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.